Behind the perfect image of America's most famous political family, there was a hidden story that few people knew. The Kennedy family represented power, wealth, and success, but inside their private world, two strong women struggled to understand each other. One was Rose Kennedy, the mother who built the foundation of the Kennedy family. The other was Jacqueline Kennedy, the elegant young woman who would become America's most admired First Zero. The Kennedy name carried enormous expectations. For decades, Rose Kennedy worked to create a family known for discipline, ambition, and public service. She believed every Kennedy had a responsibility to protect the family's reputation. To Rose, family always came first. Politics, loyalty, and tradition were the values she passed down to her children. And when Jacqueline Bouvier entered this powerful family, she stepped into a world with rules she had never experienced before. Jacqueline Bouvier was very different from the traditional Kennedy image. She was intelligent, artistic, and deeply interested in literature and history. She loved privacy and preferred a quieter life away from constant attention. But after marrying John F. Kennedy in 1953, her life changed forever. She was no longer just Jacqueline Bouvier. She had become part of the Kennedy dynasty. On September 12, 1953, Jacqueline Bouvier married John Fitzgerald Kennedy in Newport, Rhode Island. The wedding became one of the biggest social events of the decade. Millions watched the young couple with fascination. But behind the celebrations, Jackie was entering a family with strong traditions and powerful personalities. And one person watched her arrival very carefully: Rose Kennedy. Rose Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy were both strong women, but they saw life in completely different ways. Rose believed in sacrifice, family duty, and protecting the Kennedy legacy. Jackie believed in individuality, culture, and creating her own identity. Their differences did not create an immediate conflict, but over time, those differences would become impossible to ignore. When Jacqueline Kennedy entered the Kennedy family, she was entering a world unlike anything she had known before. The Kennedys were not just a wealthy family. They were a political dynasty with dreams of reaching the highest levels of American power. Rose Kennedy had spent decades building the family's image. She wanted every member of the family to understand the importance of loyalty, tradition, and public responsibility. But Jackie was not someone who easily followed expectations. She had her own personality, her own interests, and her own vision of life. Rose Kennedy was a woman shaped by another generation. She believed that a family's reputation was one of its greatest treasures. For Rose, being a Kennedy meant accepting responsibility, even when life became difficult. She admired women who were strong, loyal, and willing to sacrifice for their families. When she looked at Jackie, she saw a woman with incredible charm and intelligence. But she also saw someone who was very different from the women she had known before. Jackie Kennedy was not interested in simply becoming another member of the Kennedy family. She loved art, books, history, and culture. She had a sophisticated style that made her stand out everywhere she went. While the Kennedy family focused heavily on politics and public image, Jackie wanted to create her own identity. This difference in personality would become one of the biggest challenges between Jackie and Rose. Being John F. Kennedy's wife was not an ordinary role. Jackie was expected to support his political ambitions, attend important events, and represent the Kennedy name perfectly. But behind the public smile, Jackie often struggled with the pressure of constant attention. Rose Kennedy understood the demands of politics, but she believed that personal feelings should never come before family responsibilities. This created a quiet difference between the two women. Although rumors later suggested that Rose and Jackie disliked each other, their relationship was more complicated. They respected each other's roles, but they often had different opinions about family, politics, and personal choices. Rose saw Jackie as someone who needed to understand Kennedy traditions. Jackie saw the Kennedy world as a place where she had to protect her own identity. Their relationship was not open conflict. It was a quiet tension that continued beneath the surface. In 1960, the Kennedy family entered a new chapter. John F. Kennedy won the presidential election and became the youngest elected president of the United States. Suddenly, Jackie Kennedy was no longer just the wife of a politician. She became the First Lady of America. The entire world began watching her every move. Her fashion, her personality, and her work inside the White House made headlines everywhere. But as Jackie's popularity grew, the pressure inside the Kennedy family also increased. Jackie Kennedy quickly became one of the most admired women in the world. People were fascinated by her elegance, intelligence, and her efforts to restore the history and beauty of the White House. She introduced Americans to art, culture, and historic preservation. For many people, Jackie represented a new image of America, but inside the Kennedy family, her growing fame created complicated emotions. Rose Kennedy was proud that her son had reached the White House. She had spent years supporting John's political journey and believed deeply in the Kennedy legacy. But Rose also believed that the family name was bigger than any individual person. As Jackie became a global icon, some people wondered if Rose felt that the attention had shifted away from the Kennedy family itself. The First Lady was becoming a symbol recognized around the world. For then, Rose Kennedy understood politics because she had lived with it for decades. She believed public life required discipline, patience, and sacrifice. Jackie, however, approached her role differently. She focused on culture, beauty, history, and creating a meaningful image of the presidency. Neither woman was wrong. They simply came from different worlds and had different ideas about what the Kennedy name should represent. Despite the rumors of conflict, Rose and Jackie continued to appear together publicly. They shared important family moments and showed respect toward each other. But behind the cameras, their relationship remained complicated. Jackie was trying to survive the enormous pressure of being First Lady. Rose was trying to protect the family values she had spent her life creating. Two powerful women, two different visions, and a relationship that would never be simple. On November 22, 1963, the world of the Kennedy family changed forever. President John F. Kennedy was visiting Dallas, Texas during a presidential trip. Standing beside him was Jackie Kennedy, wearing the famous pink suit that would become one of the most remembered images in American history. Then, in a matter of seconds, everything changed. The president was assassinated, and Jackie Kennedy became a widow in front of the entire world. After the tragedy, Jackie showed incredible strength. Millions of people watched as she walked beside her husband's coffin and comforted a grieving nation. She became a symbol of courage and dignity. But behind the public image, Jackie was experiencing unimaginable personal pain. She had lost her husband, the father of her children, and the future she had imagined. For Rose Kennedy, the loss was also devastating. She was not only losing a president, she was losing her son. The Kennedy family had already experienced tragedy before, but John's death became one of the deepest wounds in Rose's life. Both Jackie and Rose were grieving the same man, but they experienced the pain in completely different ways. After the assassination, Jackie wanted privacy. She wanted to protect her children and rebuild their lives away from constant public attention. Rose, however, remained deeply connected to the Kennedy family traditions and public responsibilities. Their different approaches created more distance between them. Jackie was focused on healing. Rose was focused on preserving the Kennedy legacy. During this difficult period, rumors about Jackie and Rose's relationship began to spread. Some claimed Rose did not understand Jackie's choices. Others believed Jackie wanted a life far away from the political world. But the truth was more complicated. Their relationship was not simply about dislike. It was a relationship between two women carrying different kinds of pain, responsibility, and expectations. After the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Jackie Kennedy's life changed completely. For years, she had lived under the constant pressure of the White House, political expectations, and worldwide attention. Now, she was no longer the First Lady. She was a mother trying to protect her children and find a sense of normal life. Jackie wanted her children to grow up away from the endless cameras and political pressure that had surrounded the Kennedy family. To Rose Kennedy, the Kennedy name represented a lifetime of sacrifice. She believed the family had a responsibility to remain united and continue the legacy built over many years. The Kennedy family was not just about personal choices. It was about history, politics, and public service. But Jackie was beginning to see her future differently. She wanted independence and a life where she could make decisions for herself. In 1968, Jackie Kennedy made a decision that surprised many people. She married Greek shipping billionaire Aristotle Onassis. For Jackie, the marriage was about security, privacy, and protecting her children from the dangers of public life. But for some members of the Kennedy family, the decision was difficult to understand. They worried about how it would affect the Kennedy name and legacy. Rose Kennedy will always be remembered as the woman who helped create one of America's most famous families. Jackie Kennedy will always be remembered as a First Lady who changed the image of the American presidency. Their story was not simply about conflict. It was about two women trying to survive in a world where every decision was watched by millions. Behind the fame, the fashion, and the politics, there were real people with real emotions.